The story opens with a handsome, well-endowed young man with a somewhat cold expression. I'm Kong Woo-jin. I currently work at a typical small to medium-sized design firm in South Korea. Right after introducing his job, he boldly slams his resignation letter on the desk and coldly declares, "I quit." Perhaps this was a decision he had pondered for a long time. "Today, I've decided to hand in my resignation." Hearing this, his boss flies into a rage, shouting right in his face, "You're walking out. This is ridiculous. Whatever, I don't want to see your face anymore. Get out of here right now." He just coldly turns to leave and nods. Understood. Remembering something incredibly important, his expression suddenly turns icy. He steps closer to the boss, not forgetting to drop a threat. "Instead, I'll be sending you the documents regarding my unpaid overtime and severance pay. Make sure you do it right. If I'm short even a single cent, I'm going straight to the Department of Labor." Hearing this, the boss flinches, looking momentarily terrified. Kong Woo-jin turns around like a total badass and leaves with an icy demeanor. "I'll be taking my leave." His boss, now furious, can only curse at his back. Kong Woo-jin, damn it. At this moment, another coworker steps up and asks him anxiously, "Did you really just say that? I'm so jealous. How could you just quit so easily? What are you going to do now?" He thinks for a moment before a smug smile spreads across his face. "I got a working holiday visa, so I'm going to give it a shot. I'm heading to Australia." Time quickly skips to that evening. In the cozy atmosphere of a street food stall, Kim In-dae's voice rings out. "Kong Woo-jin, so you're officially unemployed now, huh?" The two of them are happily eating and drinking at his resignation party. In-dae then makes a suggestion. "If you're free, want to come with me to the super actor auditions?" Hearing this, Woo-jin looks at him in surprise. "Super actor?" In-dae nods and explains everything he knows. It's a new reality audition show produced by the public broadcasting network SBC. "I just applied for fun, but who knew I'd actually pass the first round?" The poster even features catchy slogans like, "We are looking for hidden stars." Sitting across from him, In-dae frowns and adds, "The first audition and interview are tomorrow morning. I'm so nervous. Please come with me." Kong Woo-jin, still a bit tipsy with a shot glass in hand, ponders for a moment. Then, he sets the glass down on the table and nods in agreement. "Sure, let's do it." Hearing this, In-dae bursts into delighted laughter. "That was a request from my friend Kim In-dae, which I foolishly agreed to while drunk." Time quickly skips to the day of the audition. A strange man hands him a card and says, "Please take this and wait." Woo-jin freezes in surprise, not understanding what's going on, and unconsciously takes the paper handed to him. The man doesn't forget to add, "This is the script you'll be performing today." He stares at the script pages and a picture containing a bizarre space inside. He looks slightly bewildered, not understanding what it is. "What is this?" His eyes widen in shock as he stares intently at the paper. A black square. Suddenly, a blinding light bursts forth, seemingly sucking Kong Woo-jin inside. "I suddenly received a script in a very bizarre and unexpected situation. I never expected this script to completely change my life." The dark space instantly pulls him in before he can even react. There is only a single beam of light in this place, leaving him no time to process what's happening. As he falls through the bizarre space, a notification chimes slowly. Script 1. Title, unknown. Grade, F. Role, unknown. Terrified man preparing to read. At this moment, his face is filled with absolute panic. Only one thought races through his mind. Right. Beg. Beg for your life. Next is an image of a man, Kong Woo-jin himself, with an incredibly wicked, smug smile, saying, "I wish your screams were a bit louder. It's still not very convincing, you know?" The system continues to announce, Script 2. Title, Profiler Henry on Part 1. Grade, A. Role, Vitali. Preparing to read. Following that is an image of him playing an incredibly mysterious, cold, and somewhat handsome man. Script 3. Title, Emergency Private Investigation. Role, Detective. Preparing to read. His acting is incredibly smooth as he adds, even if it has unnecessary charm. And next is a script where he plays an addict. By now, he has completely lost his mind and is about to log out. Script 4. Title, Unknown. Role, Unknown. Preparing to read. And next is an image of him as a handsome, cute, and pretty scholar. Script 5. Title, Namgu. Grade, B. Role, unknown. Preparing to read. This time, Kang Woo-jin takes on the role of a soldier. His eyes are filled with intense hatred beneath tears of despair as he stares ahead. He laughs maniacally. Fuck. How much is the insurance payout anyway? That is his next script. Script 6. Title, unknown. Role, unknown. Preparing to read. All these scripts appear right in front of Kang Woo-jin, leaving him panicked and confused about what's happening. The system continues its announcements. Role, preparing to read. Finally, the system finishes its selection. Preparation complete. Text appears on the screen, notifying Kang Woo-jin, you have selected script 0. Title. This is a script with a very high level of completion. 100% reading is possible. These are the individuals who can perform the reading. Experience available. B. The system chimes again. He stands there, frozen, still not understanding what the hell is happening to him. His eyes are wide with shock as he stares ahead. Without giving him much of an explanation, the system announces, start. Before Kang Woo-jin can even process anything, he finds himself inside an audition room. All the judges and everyone around are silently watching his performance. A voice rings out. By the way, this beautiful and lovely woman is none other than Hong Hae-yeon. She widens her eyes in disbelief and asks him in bewilderment. Where did you learn to act? Did you graduate from a theater and film university? Or did you study abroad? He simply glances at her calmly and explains the only truth he knows. I just graduated with a degree in design from a university in Gyeonggi. I'm self-taught in acting. Hearing this, Song Man-woo, sitting to the side, breaks into a look of sheer disbelief. A stunned expression flashes across his face. Self-taught? How could you perform so well just now? That wasn't the acting of an amateur. He remains perfectly calm in the face of these remarks. He replies, it's not really that hard anyway. At his words, everyone in the room instantly falls silent, staring at him in utter disbelief. He immediately turns to leave. Well, that's enough for today. He knows he's handsome, so he owns it. Then, he looks back and informs them, and please don't use my performance just now for the broadcast. If you do, I'll sue you. With that, the door clicks shut, leaving the 3 judges sitting there, completely stunned and speechless for a moment. Hong Hae-yeon still can't believe her own ears. She immediately voices her thoughts. He delivered such an impressive performance after just glancing at the script, and he claims he's self-taught? He's definitely lying. Song Man-woo just stares at his retreating back and murmurs in awe. That kid is an extraordinary genius. A highly intrigued smile spreads across his face. It seems he's taken a keen interest in him. In a dense jungle like the entertainment industry, monsters like him only appear once in a blue moon. Meanwhile, Kang Woo-jin is deep in thought, looking unusually serious. Sitting outside, he recalls everything that just happened and sighs. Fuck, that was so embarrassing. He facepalms and groans in frustration. They suddenly told me to act, and I just went along with it. Thinking about it now, it's so cringe. But more importantly, what the hell is this? He stares intently at the picture containing the bizarre space that has been making him curious all this time. What exactly is this black square? Let's rewind to one day ago, at a massive corporate headquarters. Inside a luxurious room, Kang Woo-jin's voice groans out. My head is going to explode. He wearily sits up after a heavy night of drinking. He miserably clutches his head and mutters to himself. I definitely drank too much yesterday. How the hell did I even get home? My memory cuts off right at the second round. He immediately recalls the image of himself boldly throwing his resignation letter in his boss's face and snapping, I quit. Next is the memory of him and his best friend drinking endlessly and partying during the second round. I definitely threw my resignation letter right in that CEO's face. And to celebrate quitting, I went to a second round with the guys. Thinking about this, he falls into deep thought for a moment. Then, he sighs and glances at his phone. Who knows? I guess I somehow managed to find my way home. Hearing his phone ring, he looks slightly surprised. He immediately grabs his phone, answers it, and asks, Kim In-dae? What's up? On the other end of the line, his friend's voice rings out. Listen to that groggy voice. Did you get home safe? Hearing this, he sits up and asks, how much did we even drink? My mind is completely blank. In-dae laughs in surprise. You don't remember? We were drinking last night, and you disappeared for almost 30 minutes. Where did you go? Hearing this, Kang Woo-jin is surprised, having no idea what happened. He snaps back irritably. You think I'd remember? Anyway, why did you call? In-dae is left speechless and asks in disbelief. You don't remember that either? His voice slowly comes through the phone. We agreed that we'd go to this super actor auditions together. Woo-jin is completely lost. Super actor? An image of a massive broadcasting company with celebrities walking on stage flashes before his eyes. Super actor. Produced by SBC, a major terrestrial network. True to its name, this reality show is designed to find hidden stars. It features 3 incredibly famous judges with different scores like 96, 70, and 65. From what he knows about Super Actor, it's been a hot topic lately. With tons of participants, ranging from trainees to ordinary people, everyone is eager to show off their talents. Remembering all this, Kang Woo-jin sits up straight and asks In-dae seriously, You said acting was just a hobby. Are you trying to make a career out of it now? In-dae retorts defensively, Shut up. I asked you to come with me because I passed the first round yesterday. Tomorrow is the first interview and evaluation round. Hearing this, he gives a slightly disdainful look at his phone screen and reminds him, In-dae, the me of today has completely forgotten yesterday's memories. So I have no idea what you're talking about. His friend, annoyed by this, snaps back. I'm nervous, so just come and cheer me on. I'll treat you to as much samgyeopsal and soju as you want after this, okay? Hearing that, he ponders for a moment before nodding. Thanks. In-dae is so exasperated he's speechless. But his next words make Woo-jin freeze on the spot. One of the judges tomorrow is Hong Hae-yeon. He looks visibly shocked hearing that name and asks, Hong Hae-yeon. Time quickly skips to the next day. Kang Woo-jin arrives at the audition venue looking incredibly expectant. Hong Hae-yeon. The place is packed with people sitting and waiting. Kang Woo-jin and In-dae slowly walk inside. Finally, I'm here. His eyes sparkle as he thinks about Hong Hae-yeon. Exciting thoughts race through his mind. I get to see the top actress, the goddess Hong Hae-yeon in person. Not a bad choice at all. He turns his head and spots an empty seat. He tells his friend, more than half the seats are taken. Let's sit over there. Suddenly, In-dae stammers miserably, Woo-jin. I'm so nervous. Hearing this, he looks back at him in confusion and asks, Nervous about what? You even perform for free at your acting club. In-dae's entire body is trembling terrifyingly now. But a few minutes quickly pass. In-dae, with a look of absolute despair, pleads helplessly, This is bad. I'm up second. I'm totally screwed. Hearing this, Woo-jin is speechless and immediately questions him. What? What the hell are you talking about? Seeing his friend stand up and clutch his stomach, he quickly urges him. Hurry up and go to the bathroom. What if you mess up during the audition? In-dae just stammers, clutching his stomach. No, I can't. Right after, he rushes to the bathroom, clutching his stomach, but doesn't forget to yell back. If my name gets called, you have to tell me immediately. Woo-jin nods in understanding. Got it. Just go already. Seeing him leave, Kang Woo-jin lets out an anxious sigh. He mutters to himself. It's hilarious seeing him so nervous. Has he been gone for like 3 minutes? 10 minutes quickly pass. Seeing this, Kang Woo-jin freezes, starting to tremble on his friend's behalf. Something's wrong. Why is he taking so long? What if they call his name? Suddenly, a staff member steps forward and calls out loudly, Mr. Kim In-dae? Kim Jin-soo. Kim Tae-woong. Kang Woo-jin freezes at the sight, his jaw dropping in panic. Holy shit. He's now panicking for his friend. Are they calling in alphabetical order? But he's not back yet. Kang Woo-jin's face turns pale with panic. He turns around, trying to reassure himself. I must have misheard. But the staff member calls out again, firmly this time. Mr. Kim In-dae. Kim Jin-soo. Kim Tae-woong. He's frozen on the spot by the situation. His entire body goes stiff. He has no idea what to do next. His mind is racing in absolute panic. Good Lord, did that idiot pass out in the bathroom or something? He steps forward and informs the staff member. Excuse me, I'm Kim In-dae's friend. He just went to the restroom. I'll go get him right now. Hearing this, the staff member looks slightly surprised. The staff member looks a bit annoyed and gives a stern warning. Your friend is up first. We can't wait long. He'll be disqualified if he doesn't hurry. Seeing this, Woo-jin quickly pleads with him. Disqualified? Could you just give us a little more time? It'd be such a shame to get disqualified like this. The staff member nods in understanding. Hold on a second. We have a slight issue here. He then speaks to someone over his walkie-talkie. After a brief conversation, a rather dark smile spreads across the staff member's face. Suddenly, his attitude does a complete 180. He points ahead and tells Kong Woo-jin, "They said it's fine. When Mr. Inde arrives, we'll guide him in. Please follow me this way." Hearing this, he nods in understanding. "Thank you." A very smug thought crosses his mind. "Kim Inde, you better treat me to a feast after this." As soon as he opens the door, he sees the 3 judges and everyone else looking around. The staff member behind him points forward and announces, "The first round of auditions is being filmed, so please wait here. We'll guide you shortly." Seeing the scene in front of him, he looks slightly confused. "He told me to come here. Now what?" Then, he spots Hong Hae-yun happily chatting with the other judges. He blushes and thinks to himself, "Crazy. It's Hong Hae-yun. She literally glows." At that moment, another staff member steps up, hands him a piece of paper, and says, "You're Kim Inde's friend, right? Please hold on to this and wait." The staff member's voice continues to explain, "Today's prompt is improvisational acting. This is the script he needs to follow." Hearing this, he becomes even more confused, having no idea what's going on. The staff member's voice continues, "If you get bored while waiting, feel free to read this." He looks at a script page and a picture of a bizarre square with a blue vortex. "If you get bored while waiting, feel free to read this." Kong Woo-jin stares in bewilderment at the picture right in front of him and mutters, "What is this? A black square." He slowly reaches his hand toward the center of the picture. His arm is gradually sucked inside. He becomes even more panicked, completely clueless as to what's happening. His eyes widen in shock. A blue light gradually pulls him in. He is completely sucked into this massive space. His screams echo desperately all around. Just like that, Kong Woo-jin falls into an incredibly bizarre dimension. He doesn't have time to process what's happening, but he isn't so terrified that he passes out. He simply squeezes his eyes shut. Then, he slowly opens them to assess his surroundings. Feeling that things are somewhat stabilizing, he frantically looks around and mutters in shock, "Holy shit. Where the hell is this? Where am I?" He immediately recalls the moment the staff member handed him those 2 strange pieces of paper. "I just touched that black square next to the script. Am I trapped inside it? Is this a movie or something?" Suddenly, a square lights up, making Kong Woo-jin turn his head in surprise. "That's..." A screen appears above, displaying a notification, Script 1. Title, Unknown. Grade, F. Role, Unknown. This script page is incomplete. This is a corrupted script or scene. 100% reading is impossible. Approximately 10% can be read. Reading these lines leaves him utterly bewildered. A corrupted script? Script page? Scene? Kong Woo-jin immediately grips the script in his hand and voices his thoughts. Script page? The guy who handed me the script earlier said it was part of the audition. Could this be the script I just received? At that moment, the script in his hand changes again. You have selected Script 1. Title, Unknown. List of readable characters. Experience available. Terrified man. F. Stranger. Reading this makes him even more anxious and deep in thought. What are these choices? He reaches out and selects Terrified man, wondering, what is this? Immediately, the system announces, Terrified man, preparing to read. Seeing this leaves him even more speechless. The voice continues, preparation complete. This is a corrupted script or scene. Only about 10% can be executed. Feeling helpless, he shouts into the silent void, "Excuse me. Who is that? Is anyone there?" The notification continues, begin reading. Suddenly, a terrifying crimson scene materializes before him. Things are scattered all over the ground around him. He looks around in panic. The location suddenly changed. Where is this? He walks around, taking in the blood-red surroundings. A mountain? Is it raining? He pinches his arm with his other hand. Feeling the sting of pain, he suddenly realizes something. This is way too vivid to be a dream. What? What the hell? Is this real? I don't understand what's going on. Suddenly, a loud noise echoes behind him, making him flinch and his eyes widen in terror. His feet instinctively move forward, picking up speed. A single thought flashes through his mind. Escape. Everything around him starts to blur. Thoughts race endlessly in his head. I have to escape. I have to run. Kong Woo-jin sprints forward with all his might, as if fleeing from reality itself. I have to escape. I have to run. His face is now twisted in absolute despair as he runs blindly forward. I have to keep running. But why am I running right now? His eyes fill with even more desperation. It's still just a dark void. Why am I running? The more he runs, the more desperate his eyes become. He has no idea what the hell is happening to him. It's because I'm being chased. Right now, I'm being hunted. The entire space seems to be bathed in red. A terrifying voice rings out behind Kong Woo-jin, making him jump. Stop right there. The strange man standing behind him repeats, stop right there. Suddenly, he trips over a branch blocking his path, plunging him deeper into despair. He crashes hard into the ground. The scene behind him is so horrifying, he doesn't dare look back. It hurts. I feel pain. Why does it hurt? The strange man slowly approaches from behind, weapon in hand. He continues to speak in a chilling tone. I'm starving because of you. Woo-jin can only lie there helplessly, screaming and begging. Don't come near me. Somebody please help. His face is now a mask of pure despair. Is this really happening? He reaches out, constantly muttering please. I'm begging you. Please spare me. Please don't kill me. Only one thought occupies his mind. I have to beg. Otherwise, I'm really going to die. Just then, a loud thud echoes. His eyes are filled with absolute hopelessness. Please save me. And just like that, the horrific scene unfolds. Kong Woo-jin thrashes on the ground, taking the relentless stabs of the knife. The space is filled only with his helpless, echoing screams. Drops of crimson blood continuously stain the ground. Seeing this, the monster in front of him flashes a sick, twisted smile. Is your blood flowing? I need to finish this quickly so I can go grab some pizza. He slowly raises his weapon toward him. Woo-jin's eyes are completely filled with the terrifying figure looming over him. Then, a sickening sound rings out. A blood-curdling scream echoes through the space. A moment later, the system's voice slowly chimes in. Reading of terrified man concluded. The lights gradually turn back on in the room. Kong Woo-jin screams maniacally in sheer terror. Faced with this horrifying scene, he slowly loses his mind in despair. Back in reality, after everyone witnesses his entire acting performance, they are all frozen in shock. He slowly collapses to the floor. Seeing this, the three judges widen their eyes, unable to believe what they just saw. Hong Hae-yeon's eyes are wide with shock, completely stunned by the scene unfolding before her. Suddenly, Kong Woo-jin stirs. He snaps back to reality. His face turns an ugly shade of pale. He asks himself, holy shit, what the fuck did I just do? His face flushes bright red with embarrassment and dread. Thoughts race endlessly through his mind. I ended up acting out exactly what I just experienced without even realizing I had escaped that weird place and was asked to act. They definitely think I'm a total freak. Screaming my lungs out and thrashing on the floor. This is so fucking embarrassing. I need to sneak out of here like nothing happened. Suddenly, Hong Hae-yeon's voice rings out. By the way, her eyes sparkle as she looks at his face. She can't hide the astonishment in her expression. Where did you learn to act? Did you graduate from a theater and film university? Or did you study abroad? Seeing her talk to him, Kong Woo-jin instantly feels a surge of joy. His mind is completely filled with her image. Is it really Hong Hae-yeon? Can a normal human being be this beautiful? Is she a fairy? A goddess? A literal goddess is right in front of me. She's so radiant. I want to take a picture with her, but I'm too embarrassed right now. Still, I should definitely get one to show off to Kim In-dae. Should I ask for a picture? Should I? We can see his heart screaming like crazy. Outwardly, however, he remains as cold as if nothing had happened. He reminds himself, calm down. I need to handle this humiliation first. Should I act tough and put on a cold face? First, lower my voice. Immediately, he puts on a dead serious expression on his handsome face. He tells everyone in the room, no, I just graduated with a degree in design from a university in Gyeonggi. I'm self-taught in acting. Hearing this, Song Man-woo is instantly bewildered, his eyes wide in disbelief. Self-taught? How could you perform so well just now? That wasn't the acting of an amateur. Contrary to his astonished reaction, Kong Woo-jin feels a bit embarrassed. but he still tries to look serious as he replies, "It's not really that hard anyway." Meanwhile, completely different thoughts are racing through his head. Don't let the embarrassment show, because I'm dying of embarrassment right now. I need to get the hell out of here. He immediately turns and leaves in a hurry, not forgetting to warn the judges inside. "Well, I'll be taking my leave. And please don't use my performance just now for the broadcast. If you do, I'll sue you." The door clicks shut, leaving the three judges standing there motionless, completely speechless at what just happened. Hong Haiyun finally regains her composure. She immediately voices her thoughts. He delivered such an impressive performance after just glancing at the script, and he claims he's self-taught? He's definitely lying. Song Man-woo, on the other hand, doesn't think so. He immediately voices his own suspicions. That kid is an extraordinary genius. In a dense jungle like the entertainment industry, monsters like him only appear once in a blue moon. The story of his training is retold, and thus, the snowball of misunderstanding begins to roll. Only Wu Jin is completely oblivious. After finishing up in the restroom, Inde happily waves at Kong Wu Jin. "Kong Wu Jin, over here." Seeing him, he looks up in surprise. "You just finished? How did the audition go?" Inde nods, then asks in surprise, "I was out in 15 seconds. Wait, did you go in instead of me? The judges were asking about you." Hearing this makes him suddenly flustered. He quickly replies, "It was nothing special." Suddenly, he notices the papers in his friend's hand. "Is that a script? Let me see." Inde nods and agrees. He immediately hands the script over to him. "Here." Seeing the script from earlier, Wu Jin jumps in shock. Holy shit. Right next to the script, another bizarre square image has appeared. He suddenly realizes something. It's that square from earlier. If I touch it, I'll definitely get trapped in that weird place again. He slowly holds the script and tentatively reaches his hand forward. That wasn't my imagination or a dream. It wasn't a memory either, because I actually experienced it. How could something like this happen? He continues to sink into his endless train of thought. Right. Reading through this feels exactly like what I experienced on the mountain. He slowly reaches out to touch the script. The script displays some information. List of readable characters. Experience available. Terrified man hearing this, Kong Wu Jin suddenly understands something. He recalls the scene from earlier, when the terrifying man relentlessly attacked him with a knife. I'm pretty sure I selected that terrified man thing. So that means I take on the role and experience the situation from the script. Thinking of this, he looks up at the sky and sighs. I need to test a few things. He immediately turns to Inde and asks, "Do you have any scripts at your place? If you do, let's go there right now. I'll call a cab." Seeing this, his friend looks surprised and quickly asks, "Why so sudden?" "I do, but..." The scene quickly shifts to a spacious apartment in a high-rise building. Kong Wu Jin feels quite nauseous from the car smell. He immediately complains, "That smell? Open a window and let some fresh air in." Inde sighs in annoyance and retorts, "For a guy who suddenly barged into my house, you sure complain a lot." Inde then goes into his room and starts rummaging for various scripts. As he searches, he asks in surprise, "By the way, why do you suddenly want to look at scripts? Especially someone like you who doesn't even watch TV." Wu Jin finds it hard to explain. "It's just..." With a look of absolute certainty, he glances back. "I need to check a few things." Just a few minutes later, Inde hands him a stack of documents and announces, "Found them. 2 scripts from some web dramas, and 1 script for an unproduced movie." Hearing this, a confirming thought crosses his mind. Just as I thought. He sees the vortex space appearing right next to these scripts. The black square is next to the scripts too. I've completed the first step of testing. Remembering something, he slowly reaches out and presses the black square. Step 2 is checking the time. It's currently 11:41 a.m. "Okay," he tells his friend, "watch me very closely." Inde nods in understanding. "I'm watching. What are you doing?" The space instantly changes again, making Kong Wu Jin flinch as he struggles to adapt. He immediately looks at the white square right in front of him and mutters to himself, "Where the hell is this? This is driving me crazy." First things first, look at this white square. The white square then splits into 2 different squares, making him realize something. It turned into 2. It seems the number keeps increasing as I get new scripts or scenes. Let's test it. Should I head out now? Let's go. Kong Wu Jin waits, but absolutely nothing happens, leaving him speechless. In the middle of the pitch-black void, he frantically screams ahead. Log out. Exit. Return. Cut. Let me out. After a long string of frantic shouting, he finally returns to reality, standing there in a daze. Seeing this, Inde is quite curious and surprised. He asks in confusion, "What's wrong? You just held up your index finger and spaced out. Are you okay?" He lifts his phone and checks the time again. Various thoughts race through his mind. I was in there for almost 5 minutes, but the time hasn't changed at all. Pretty interesting. What's next? Suddenly, the phone on the table rings. Inde, still not paying attention to it, asks him in surprise, "Are you sure you're okay?" Then, as he answers the phone, he immediately nods and agrees repeatedly. Yes, a little bit. He's right in front of me." Hearing this, Woojin looks at him in confusion. Inde whispers and gestures to him. "The producer of Super Actor wants to talk to you." The phone is then brought to his ear. Seeing this, he feels a bit awkward. Super Actor? Fuck. That humiliation is creeping back up. First, lower my voice. He immediately speaks up. The short-haired judge on the other end greets him. "Mr. Woojin, we're contacting you because you passed the first round. Do you have any plans to come to Super Actor again? You only went to cheer on your friend, but you ended up passing. Isn't that interesting?" Hearing this leaves him a bit speechless. Do they want to make a laughingstock out of me? They're crazy. There's no way I'm going back there. He continues to act tough and cold. I don't want to. I was just acting for fun to kill time while waiting. Hearing this, the short-haired judge instantly freezes. Acting for fun, and it was that good? Then how incredible would he be if he acted seriously? She looks slightly confused and quickly replies over the phone. What? That level of acting was just for fun? You're quite honest, aren't you? He calmly replies. That's the truth. What can I say? So please just forget about it. In his mind, he's begging endlessly. Please just forget about my embarrassing moment. Hearing this, she feels a bit regretful and falls into her own thoughts. If he were shown on TV, he'd definitely become famous instantly. What a shame. Does he really have no interest in this? Feeling a bit disappointed, she replies, Then I'll remove the footage of your audition, Mr. Woojin. Suddenly, he remembers something. He quickly coughs lightly and awkwardly asks the short-haired judge, But, could I get the footage of my performance? She nods in agreement. Send me your phone number. I'll text it to you. On his end of the line, he nods. Thank you. The short-haired judge doesn't forget to add. All right, I'll hang up now. Behind her, Manhwa is already standing there. He steps up behind her in surprise and asks, Was that the guy from earlier? She jumps and yelps. You scared me to death. Could you please make some noise when you walk? She then nods and sighs, recounting the conversation. Yeah, he said he only auditioned for fun and won't be coming to the second round. Hearing this, Manhwa feels a bit regretful. He came here and stirred everything up just because he was bored? How bizarre. Suddenly, a very bold idea pops into his head, making him chuckle in amusement. He thinks for a long moment before asking the judge, Do you have his number? Soon after, Kang Woojin returns to his beloved room. He collapses onto the floor in exhaustion and groans. I'm so tired. There are still a few things I need to test at Kim In-dae's house. He feels a bit annoyed recalling the scene at his friend's house. Just because of that call, In-dae made such a huge fuss. At the time, his friend had excitedly yelled at him. What? That was a call from Super Actor. He could only helplessly clutch his head and snap. Stop asking. Thinking of this, he sighs wearily and reminisces. I just ran away, but at least I figured it out. He slowly pieces together the details about the black square he jumped into. If I get sucked into that black square, time in the real world stops. 11:41 a.m. equals 11:41 a.m. And In-dae didn't see me get sucked in at all. 2. The people around me can't see the black square that I see. And there was only one way for him to escape that black square. The magic keyword to escape that bizarre space is exit. I only got out when I said exit. Piecing all the details together, Kang Woojin rests his chin on his hand, deducing the facts. Now that I've confirmed the important details about that weird square, I should finish what I started last time. Remembering something, he turns to look at the scripts placed on the table. Elegant Eldest Daughter and Thug Prosecutor are dramas that have already finished airing, right? Let's see. 2 drama scripts and 1 movie script. He stares intently at his phone, falling deep into thought. Since I can't bring my phone into that space, I have to do my research beforehand. He then uses his phone to quickly look up information. First, check the ratings and basic details. Since I can't bring my phone into that space, I have to do my research beforehand. He continuously searches for new information. The results keep popping up. Thug Prosecutor had a final viewership rating of 7.1%. Elegant Eldest Daughter had a final viewership rating of 2.7%. Seeing this, he ponders for a moment. Looking into this beforehand was definitely a good idea. With that thought, he slowly reaches his hand into the black square space. Preliminary checks are done. Now, let's confirm it. He is instantly sucked into the bizarre space. Now, 3 different spaces appear before him. Seeing this, he says in surprise, just as I thought. Another one has been added. Let's see. 2 scripts catch his eye. Script 2. Title: Elegant Eldest Daughter Part 1. Grade: E. This is a drama script with very high quality. 100% reading is possible. Script 3. Title: Thug Prosecutor Part 1. Grade: C. This is a drama script with very high quality. 100% reading is possible. Reading this, Kang Woo-jin realizes something. He stands there, lost in his own thoughts. What are those grades? It doesn't seem to be about quality. Maybe. He immediately recalls the information he searched for earlier. Maybe it's a measure of popularity or performance. The information he just looked up slowly comes back to him. Thug Prosecutor had a final viewership rating of 7.1%. Elegant Eldest Daughter had a final viewership rating of 2.7%. He asks himself, in that case, is it possible to view scripts or scenes that haven't been released to the public yet? Since I previously received an unproduced script, I should check that one too. Suddenly, Kang Woo-jin widens his eyes in confusion, staring ahead before pressing confirm. What is this? He looks at the script right in front of him and reads it intently. A shooting script for a movie that hasn't even started production. Grade B. He stares in bewilderment at the notification square. Shooting script 4. Title: Detective Agency. Grade B. This is a movie script with a very high level of completion. 100% reading is possible. Reading this information, he suddenly remembers something. Grade B is the highest rating among everything I've done so far. He immediately recalls his conversation with Inde about this script. 2 scripts from broadcasted dramas and 1 script for an unproduced movie. He instantly understands something from all this. Earlier, Kim Inde said it was an unproduced shooting script. It seems I can check the grades of works that are still in the pre-production stage. He immediately calls out, return. Back in reality, Kang Woo-jin holds the scripts in his hands, realizing something. Now I know I can confirm a work's grade before it's even produced. I'll set Detective Agency aside for now. He sits there, studying the script in his hand more closely. I should start by reading the contents of the scripts that have already aired. Suddenly, his phone rings, making him curious and a bit confused. The PD of Super Actor has sent him a video. He finally remembers that important matter. Here it is. The video of my humiliating performance. Kang Woo-jin groans and clutches his head, but his finger still taps to play the video. But I still need to check the evidence of what happened after I first entered that weird space. I feel like throwing up. He quickly taps the video to watch it. Suddenly, his own familiar voice rings out from the video. I'm begging you. Please spare me. Please. Somebody save me. In the video, he is in a state of absolute panic, screaming frantically ahead. All the video clips recording this scene are being reviewed by a mysterious woman standing in the back. She covers her mouth in surprise and quickly asks the others in disbelief. This? Is he really acting? Her face is completely stunned. She frantically asks the judges behind her. Was he actually stabbed? If not, how could a person pull off expressions like that? Song Man-woo smiles and explains to her, writer Park Eun-mi, look. With such absurd expressive ability, when you watch this, doesn't a certain character come to mind? Hearing this, she jumps in shock. She immediately glances at the stack of scripts and wonders, a role? Could it be? The script on the table displays the words, behavioral analysis for creating a psychopathic character. She instantly recalls the image of a twisted man with a knife, maniacally murdering innocent people. Are you talking about that role? A delighted smile spreads across Park Eun-mi's face. Various thoughts race through her mind. I was worried I'd have to change the character's setup because it's such a challenging role filled with my own ambitions, and I couldn't find an actor who could portray it. First, I need to see him with my own eyes. Back in reality, Kang Woo-jin is bewildered as he watches the video of his performance. What is this? Looking at his face screaming in despair, he looks slightly surprised, unable to believe it's really him. Isn't this way better than I thought? Saying this, he clutches his head in confusion and mutters to himself, I actually did a good job, didn't I? Why did I call it that? If my acting didn't look weird, then me passing the first round wasn't a fluke. I actually passed because of my acting. Right after that, he immediately thought of an incredibly badass scenario. The ugly young man right in front of him was Woo-jin's imagination. He smugly told everyone in front of him, acting? It's not that hard. Because I'm a genius. A prodigy. Hearing his words, the judge's eyes widened in disbelief. Is this really a contestant? Kang Woo-jin recalled everything. He was so embarrassed his face turned red, and he started blaming himself. I'm going crazy. I acted cold because I was so embarrassed, but in their eyes, I must look like a prodigy. Thinking of this, he immediately focused and got serious. He slowly reached out to the black square space right next to the script. Whatever. I won't see them again anyway, so it doesn't matter much. What I need to focus on right now is, I need to finish experiencing this weird dark space. He stared intently at the space that seemed to want to suck him inside and focused his thoughts. His face suddenly became strangely calm. He reminded himself, maybe there are still features I don't know about. First, I'll use the scripts I received to experience it like last time. By now, it was getting dark. Kang Woo-jin muttered to himself in frustration, but I really don't want to get stabbed to death again. Soon after, time shifted to the next morning. He woke up exhausted in his room. After a long day of sleeping with the scripts in front of him, he had dark circles under his eyes. He looked at the scripts and let out a tired sigh. It's over. Unlike last time, my head feels less foggy. Did my body adapt to it? My head hurts a bit, though. He reached up and held his head. Based on what I've tested, I remember every single line of the characters in the script. He then continued to stare at the script in his hand. Even the male cafe employee I just read. Not just the lines, but all 5 senses, emotions, thoughts, and feelings of the character. Everything is ingrained in me. At this moment, he became extremely serious. It was as if he had transformed into the character from the script he had read. It feels like the role I experienced and his world have been deeply imprinted into me. Speaking of this, Kang Woo-jin became incredibly smug. He didn't forget to praise himself for being so awesome. With this level of skill, should I seriously consider becoming an actor instead of just doing manual labor in Australia? Whatever. Looks like I'll be living a much more interesting life. Just then, his phone started ringing. Seeing this, he was a bit surprised. What's this? An unknown number? He quickly answered and greeted the person on the other end. A voice slowly rang out. Is this Kang Woo-jin? Song Man-woo immediately introduced himself. It's me, producer Song Man-woo. You remember me, right? Hearing this familiar voice, he instantly remembered the judge sitting in the middle. He continued, the one sitting in the middle of the judging panel. Hearing this, he finally recognized him. The guy with the beard. Hearing that, he laughed and got straight to the point. That's right. By the way, can we meet up as soon as possible? Woo-jin was a bit surprised, not understanding what was going on. Why me? I need to use that persona right now. He immediately replied coldly. You need to tell me the reason first. In his head, only one thought popped up to remind himself. Act cold. Manwoo was quite surprised to see him acting so cold. It's a bit awkward to talk over the phone like this. If possible, I'd prefer to meet in person. Hearing this, he nodded in agreement and stated his terms. Today at 4 p.m. That's the only time I can meet. Seeing that he agreed to meet, Manwoo immediately became thrilled. Okay. Besides me, a few other people involved are also very eager to come. If I send you the address, can you make your way there? Hearing this, he just nodded. No problem. Manwoo happily nodded and announced, thank you. I'll send the address then. See you at 4. After nodding in agreement, Kang Woo-jin immediately hung up. He was bewildered and confused about the man who just called him. Why does he want to meet? He continued to search on his phone, thinking of something to check. If what Kim Young-dae said is true and they're a big production, let's see just how famous they are. The next news article startled him. On the screen were breaking news headlines. Entertainment news, press conference. News about PD Song Manhwa and writer Park Eun-mi teaming up has the audience extremely excited. Another new article about him. Entertainment news, top actors are lining up waiting for the next move from Song Manhwa, SBS's star producer. Seeing all this news, Kang Woo-jin's eyes widened in disbelief. Thinking about this, he chuckled, looking at the breaking news on his phone, and asked himself, they really are famous. I'm so curious why they want to meet me. I hope they don't ask me to act or something again. Soon after, Kang Woo-jin was slapped in the face by his own thoughts. I was right. Sitting right in front of him, Song Manhwa cut straight to the chase. He became extremely serious. Let's get straight to the point. Yesterday, you showed us an acting performance that didn't focus on the lines, right? I'm curious about your monologue skills, Woo-jin. In front of him was the famous writer Park Eun-mi, with him sitting in the middle, and finally, his goddess, Hong Hyeon. On the other side, the directors and production crew were staring intently at him. In the press conference room, everyone was staring at him, waiting to hear his answer. He immediately panicked, sinking into his own thoughts. What the hell is a monologue performance? I had a feeling they'd make me act. At this moment, he looked completely calm on the outside, but inside, he was screaming in despair. I literally just started acting yesterday. These people, should I just keep my mouth shut? Sensing his awkwardness, Manhwa continued speaking to him with incredibly confusing words. Or you can just look at the table and do it. Just express it however you like, Woo-jin. He looked at the script right in front of him and froze, completely speechless. Holy sh**t. The black square isn't showing up here. He became even more panicked as he stared intently at the script in front of him. Without it, I can't enter the space. I guess it only works with paper scripts. But there's nothing like that around here. I can't log into the empty space. At this moment, the three judges stared at him with eyes full of anticipation while he was still lost in his own thoughts. If I can't enter the void space. Even though he appeared calm, inside, he was panicking endlessly. My acting skills are going to be exposed as a total fraud. He gritted his teeth in frustration. Right now, he didn't know what the right thing to do was. What the hell am I supposed to do? Woo-jin still sat there calmly. In his head, thoughts kept popping up. From the very beginning, He slowly spoke to the judges right in front of him. Today, all three judges were dead silent, seriously and intently watching him, not wanting to miss a single moment. His face became incredibly calm. He immediately recounted. I was walking down the street when suddenly, Manhwa's eyes grew even more stunned as he stared at him. Right now, he had no idea what he was doing here. I'm just a normal guy who knows nothing about acting. So I just need to be honest. Thinking of this, he crossed his arms, looked at the script, and announced, a cat rushed towards me. Manhwa and Hong Hyeon stood there, jaws dropped in disbelief. His acting. The two immediately glanced at each other, mutually understanding what the other was thinking. This is bad. He still didn't care at all about the reactions on their faces. He kept his arms crossed and continued. But, kicked, no. Manhwa was left gaping at this scene. He didn't know what else to say in this situation. What's going on? He's even worse than a rookie actor. This is completely different from yesterday. Hong Hyeon also dropped her jaw, unable to believe her eyes. What kind of acting is that? He's like a completely different person compared to his audition at Superstar Actor. Perhaps the most shocked person right now was Park Eun-mi. She froze, speechless at the sight. Good lord, even a first-year rookie actor is better than him. Woo-jin still stood there, continuing his terrible performance for everyone to see. Maybe that, a little child private. Even though he felt completely helpless, his mind was racing with thoughts. I just need to act tough and go home. This is pointless. Thinking of this, he decided he had to keep acting completely cold in front of these people. He glanced at the three judges again. Sorry. Looking at Manhwa's frowning, confused face, he continued to announce, I have things to do now. Stop this and let me leave right now. Hearing that, Manhwa sat there, looking at him with disbelief, not understanding what was going on. What is he saying? At this moment, his face had become extremely serious. He sat there, arms crossed, looking at the judges. His eyes became incredibly deep and strangely thoughtful. Looking deep into his eyes, Manhwa's jaw dropped as he suddenly realized something. I get it. Right now, he's acting like someone who doesn't know how to act. Thinking of this, he smiled smugly and asked him, Wu Jin, why are you acting like someone who doesn't know how to act? Hearing this, the two judges next to him turned to look at him in surprise and confusion. He's expressing his dissatisfaction with us through his acting. Not just the two judges, but even the others froze in surprise upon hearing this. He was acting like he didn't know how to act. Contrary to Manhwa's expectations, Wu Jin sat there completely clueless. He felt even more confused by them. What the hell does acting like I don't know how to act even mean? Thinking of this, he stared at Manhwa's smug face, his mind racing with thoughts. I told them to let me go home, and suddenly he's saying all this weird stuff. Or maybe that bearded guy misunderstood something. Don't tell me he came to that conclusion because, in his eyes, I'm some crazy genius? Just thinking about it made Wu Jin sigh in exhaustion. Whatever. For now, I'll just maintain this attitude. He coldly spoke his mind to him. It's because you suddenly told me to act without explaining anything. Then he abruptly stood up and announced, It feels pretty unpleasant being treated like this. Seeing that he was genuinely angry, Manhwa hurriedly stammered to stop him. Wait. I apologize. Please calm down. An awkward smile appeared on Manhwa's face. He continued to explain his thoughts to him. It seems I was too hasty. Because I really wanted to show everyone your acting talent. I'll explain everything, so please sit back down and listen. Hearing this, he pretended to be reluctant and nodded, sitting back down. Seeing him sit down, Manhwa let out a huge sigh of relief. In his mind, only one determined thought remained. I absolutely cannot let a monster like him slip away. So intense. At this moment, Manhwa suddenly turned serious. He smiled, glanced at him, and got straight to the point. Wu Jin, I'll be blunt. We are preparing for a new drama, and I want to cast you as an actor for it. Hearing this, he still maintained a cold expression on his face. But right now, his mind was racing with all sorts of thoughts. What? You called me here just to? Suddenly recalling the words Manhwa just said, he instantly froze, not fully processing what he was hearing. His eyes clearly showed his shock. Right now, he looked like a dumbfounded frog, his mouth hanging open as he listened to all of this. What did he say? Is he serious? Park Eun-mi smiles and slides the scripts toward him, introducing them. This is the beginning of the script. This is the first time it's being revealed to an outsider. Please choose any role in here and act it out. Manhwa nods in agreement. He gestures to explain further. Now you understand, right? We can wait for you as long as you need. Whether it's 10 minutes or 30 minutes. Feel free to pick a role and read a few lines from it. Meanwhile, he has his own thoughts. Of course, the role has already been decided. He just needs to perform it. Seeing Wu Jin holding the script, Eun-mi looks at him with curiosity. However, we don't know how he's going to perform it. He holds the script and tells everyone, I'll read it for a bit. Time quickly passes. 10 minutes later. Wu Jin finishes reading the script, looks up, and informs the two directors in front of him. I'll play the assistant manager. The scene with the dog. Hearing this, the two drop their jaws in shock, unable to believe their ears. The assistant manager? Park Eun-mi jumps slightly and glances at Manhwa, signaling him. That's the psychopathic character I wanted. There was no setup here, but he chose such a difficult role without any hesitation. Wu Jin slowly places the script down on the table, making her look slightly surprised. She immediately asks him, Can you act without even looking at it? He nods to confirm and sits there. Seeing this, she looks at the handsome young man in front of her with curiosity. Has he already grasped everything? The lines, the acting style, the emotions, and all that? Manhwa quickly adapts to this. He nods and signals, All right, let's do it then. Please start right away. At that moment, another voice from the directing team rings out, asking, Assistant manager, why didn't you come? Manhwa stares at him smugly, as if anticipating something. Various thoughts race through his mind. That line is at the beginning of the scene. What kind of acting will that monster show us? Wu Jin remains incredibly calm. He slowly brings his hand up to his face. Then, he opens his eyes with a terrifying gaze that silences everyone in the room. The judges instantly freeze at the sight. Eun-mi thinks in fear. His eyes have changed. His entire aura, too. He figured out how to convey the emotions in such a short amount of time. Suddenly, he smiles and says, You go ahead first. But in a split second, his eyes turn razor sharp. He slowly glances downward. The judges flinch, feeling a murderous aura enveloping their bodies, and shudder in fear. His eyes become incredibly cold, laced with malice. His voice slowly rings out. It's dog shit. Woojin's face right now is absolutely terrifying. He stares ahead with eyes full of hatred for the world. Now he strips away the mask. He returns to his true self. He has just stepped on a piece of dog shit. This makes him even more furious. Silent waves continue to churn in his mind. Visual. His world. When he turns his head, a cute little dog is barking at him incessantly, as if welcoming him for stepping in its shit. Reality has become mundane. It now feels like a fairy tale. Right. Like a world inside a dream. The dog's eyes seem to reflect the brilliant, colorful fireworks exploding in the sky. Incredibly bizarre thoughts race through his mind. Quickly. I feel like I have to do something quickly. That's the feeling. He slowly crouches down and calls the little dog over. There you are, you little beast. A deeply eerie smile spreads across his face. He slowly reaches his hand toward it. You're cute. So soft. His long, slender fingers inch closer, petting the little dog until it drops its guard around him. Up in the sky, fireworks explode in the air. His voice continues to speak. Makes me want to blow you up and watch everything splatter. He decisively crushes the dog with his bare hands. Splatters of the dog's blood hit Woojin's face, but he just stands there, completely cold. Back in reality, he slowly closes his eyes. Feeling that his performance is sufficient, he slowly opens his eyes and looks at the 3 judges in front of him. I'm done. The 3 judges sit there in shock, staring at him with absolute terror in their eyes. Perhaps the most astounded of all is Park Eun-mi. She sits there rooted to the spot, unable to comprehend how he could deliver such top-tier acting. How? How could he match the character's image so perfectly? It's even more than that. The image of Woojin holding a knife, murdering a person and a dog lying dead on the ground, flashes before everyone's eyes, leaving them even more horrified. Assistant Manager Park is right in front of us. Park Eun-mi widens her eyes in disbelief, staring ahead. Thoughts race endlessly through her mind. Assistant Manager Park is a character I agonized over, pouring in so much effort and staying up countless nights to create. I thought no one could ever bring him to life. She frantically recalls the terrifying image of Woojin from earlier. But this actor, Kang Woojin, rendered all my worries meaningless. Next is the image of him coldly murdering the little dog on New Year's Eve, with fireworks exploding in the sky. She touches the script she wrote in a daze. An actor's performance overpowering the script I wrote. That's something I've never experienced before. Thinking of this, she widens her eyes in awe, looking at Woojin standing there. Besides, I've written so many scripts that even I get sick of looking at them. And I've met countless top actors like Hong Hyen. But I've never met an actor like him. Woojin still stood there quietly, enduring the judging gazes of everyone around him. Kang Woojin. We absolutely cannot lose him. Contrary to everyone's serious attitude, he was on the side, sighing in relief. This role sucks. Then, he looked somewhat confusedly at the script placed on the table. Or rather, that's Assistant Director Park's personality. No wonder I saw such crazy colors. He stared at the document file of Profiler Han Rian. Seeing it, he was a bit surprised and muttered the words on the file. Profiler Han Rian. Time quickly flashed back to a few minutes ago. When he held the script in his hand, Park Eun-mi's voice rang out, informing him, "This is the beginning of the script. This is the first time it's being revealed to outsiders." Her voice continued to ring out. "Please choose any role in here and act it out." At this moment, Woojin also looked at the document in front of him with some confusion, lost in his own thoughts. An audition or something. What did they just say? I don't get it. His hand quickly grabbed the script. Right. Time. I need time to organize my thoughts. A long time passed. Woojin was now inside the black square space. He sighed in frustration, reaching out to look at the scripts in front of him. Finally calmed down. But I'm about to lose my mind. What the hell is going on? Thinking of something that was still bothering him, he immediately reached up, holding his chin in thought. They want to cast me in this huge project? Let me review this. So, that means they want to cast me because of my incredible acting, right? He continued to mutter empty words as if cheering himself up. It seems the experience I get in this space is better than I thought. Suddenly, he He turned his head to notice another script. Looking at the script right in front of him, he was a bit surprised and stepped closer to examine it. Profiler Han Rian. Is it a crime thriller? Is there a role here they want me to play? Are they just minor roles? After holding the character's script in his hand, Wu Jin chuckled in surprise. Now that I look at it, it's not too bad. To seize the opportunity and get evaluated by those big shots. In his hand was script number 5. You have selected the title, Profiler Han Rian Part 1. Character list. Available for experience. A. Lee Hajin B. Young Samin Z. Base Assistant Director Park. After reading through this entire script, he hesitated, thinking about something. Then he spoke to himself. Since the characters at the beginning play major roles or have a lot of scenes, I'll choose Assistant Director Park, who has a minor role. Immediately, the system notification rang out. Preparing to read. Assistant Director Park. Preparation complete. This is a very high-quality script or scene. Synchronization is at 100%. A light in this place slowly sucked him back in. Reading commenced. Time quickly returned to the present. Wu Jin recalled everything and sat on the side, letting out a huge sigh of relief. I wonder how it went. I'm curious how they'll evaluate me. Suddenly, Park Yunmi stood up without a word, which surprised him. She slowly walked towards him, making him even more panicked. What's wrong with this lady? She's a bit scary. Is she mad? Right after that, she tightly grabbed his hands, making him freeze on the spot before he could even react. She suddenly pleaded with Wu Jin, the role of Assistant Director Park. Please take it. At this moment, her face had become incredibly excited. She couldn't hide her thrill as she looked at him. It has to be you, Wu Jin. Manwoo stood on the side, witnessing this entire scene. A joyful smile appeared on his face. Ryder Park is too excited. How can she be so reckless in casting an actor like that? But I can understand. He stared at his calm face as he sat there quietly. She definitely wants to snatch him up. That monster. But in reality, Wu Jin wasn't as calm as he looked on the outside. Right now, his jaw was dropping in his mind, completely shocked and unable to believe his ears. Inside, Wu Jin was feeling incredibly weirded out. So overwhelming. I was so shocked because she suddenly grabbed my hands. Then he sank back into his own thoughts. But looking at this writer's reaction, the power of the subspace is truly amazing. Thinking of this, he sighed and replied to Park Yunmi, please let go of my hands. Seeing this, she embarrassedly let go. I'm sorry. I forgot myself. Manwoo coughed lightly a few times from the side and announced, Ryder Park, please calm down. First of all, I have a few questions for Wu Jin. Hearing this, he turned to look at him in disbelief. Questions? Manwoo's face became extremely calm. He continued to ask him various questions. At Superstar, you said you taught yourself acting, right? How long have you been studying? Hearing this, he was speechless and thought to himself, today is literally the second day. Even though he thought that, he secretly told himself, just give a vague answer. Then he immediately switched to his cold persona and smugly replied to them, I'm not exactly sure. It's been a while. Hearing this simple answer, Manwoo interpreted it completely differently. He was thrilled and thought, a while, huh? Considering how he got into the villainous role of Assistant Director Park after just glancing at the script, it's probably close to 10 years, if not more. That overflowing confidence is the proof. Then why is he only showing up now? He continued to ask him. So where did you teach yourself? Even if you're self-taught, there must be limits to what you can do alone. Hearing these words, Wu Jin stayed silent and looked away. His expression became incredibly awkward. Is that so? I didn't even know that. Seeing him not answer, Manwoo continued to share his thoughts with him. Directors would never overlook an actor like you. And it doesn't seem like you're from some small entertainment agency either. Hearing his words, he became even more panicked. Manwoo continued, did you study acting abroad? Hearing this, Hong Hyen also looked at him in surprise, as if waiting for his answer. As for him, he just calmly looked in another direction, looking troubled. What abroad? The scale is getting bigger and bigger. Is it okay to keep going? Seeing him look conflicted, she immediately reached out to him. If there are circumstances you can't talk about, you don't have to answer. Hearing her say that, he just nodded in agreement. All right then. In his mind, various thoughts were racing. Okay, I'll choose to keep my circumstances a secret, even though they don't exist. That's Hong Hyen for you. Shifting back to the overthinking Manhwa, he stared at him, lost in his own thoughts. Circumstances he can't talk about? He appeared on Superstar, so it shouldn't be anything too crazy, right? Regardless, I can't afford to lose this terrifying monster. Thinking of this, he immediately laughed and asked, "Next question then. Why did you choose the role of Assistant Director Park? The other roles would have been easier to analyze." Park Yunmi also nodded in agreement, turning to him to voice her own doubts. "I'm curious too. Why Assistant Director Park out of all the other roles?" Hearing this, Woo Jin was speechless. Because his scenes are the shortest, obviously. It's probably fine if I just say it straight, right? He immediately answered the question, leaving the three judges stunned on the spot. Because his scenes are short. Park Yunmi's eyes grew even more bewildered. She found him even more intriguing. Wow, he chose such a difficult role just because the scenes were short? It might be short, but it's 10 times harder to analyze and act. Over on his side, Manhwa was also completely baffled hearing his words. His eyes widened in confusion. Is there something wrong with his brain? Anyone else would avoid a troublesome role like Assistant Director Park. Is he a genius or just a total weirdo? On the other side, Hong Hyen also dropped her jaw in disbelief. I get it. He's deliberately showing off and acting nonchalant. Like, that role is too easy for me. Sitting on the side, Woo Jin saw the three of them scrutinizing him like that and was a bit speechless, not knowing what to say. It seems like everyone is having some weird thoughts. Thinking of this, he slowly stood up. Whatever. Time to run, he announced to everyone in the room. I will think about your offer. I'll be taking my leave now. His hand quickly pushed the door open and he stepped outside. As he walked, he was lost in his own thoughts. What the hell happened in that room? Just then, his phone rang, making him curious. He looked at the caller ID. Youngdi again. He answered and asked him, what? Before he could finish his sentence, Youngdi's voice rang out from the other end. Let's meet up after work tonight. I promised to treat you right. Then he continued to demand. Also, return those scripts you borrowed from me the other day. Hearing that, he nodded in agreement. Suddenly, Hong Hyen walked up behind him. Then she called out, Mr. Kong Woo Jin. Hearing that, he startled and froze. She slowly walked towards him, not forgetting to voice her doubts. Why didn't you accept the offer for that role right away? Seeing this, he turned around in surprise, looking at her in disbelief. Looking at her absolutely stunning, top-tier, beautiful face right in front of him, he felt like he was falling in love. Hong Hyen. Woo Jin's inner self was overjoyed, his mind racing. Hong Hyen. I can't believe Hong Hyen called my name so casually. But on the outside, he acted incredibly cold. He just replied to her, I already said it. I need more time to think. Then he quickly turned his head away. Actually, I accidentally acted too arrogant, so accepting it right away would look weird. Plus, if I accept immediately, I won't look cool. I have to care about looking badass too. Hearing that, she just quietly stared at him. Then she stepped closer, smiled, and asked, So, Woo Jin, are you working for any agency? Seeing her get so close, his heart started pounding wildly. Her beauty is seriously no joke. Can she hear my heart beating like crazy? On the outside, he maintained his demeanor and coldly replied, I'm not. Hearing this, she looked curious and stepped even closer. Why? Why haven't you joined one? He gently replied, Just because. Do I need a reason? Seeing this, she felt a bit regretful. That's not it. Were you really abroad? Hearing this, he immediately didn't know what else to say. Seeing his strange reaction, she realized she had misspoken. He must have his own reasons. I misspoke. She quickly corrected herself. I'm sorry. By the way, how old are you, Woo Jin? He immediately explained, I'm 27. Hearing this, she smiled, pointed at herself, and introduced, I'm 2 years older than you. Suddenly, she remembered something. By the way, you haven't joined any agency yet, right? Just then, a notification chime rang out. The door is open. He nodded in agreement. Hearing his words, Hong Hyen smiled and waved goodbye. Woo Jin, I look forward to seeing you again on the project. Inside the elevator, he just coldly nodded at her. Right after, the elevator doors closed. As soon as the doors shut, it was as if his soul had been sucked out, and he collapsed to his knees in pure joy. I just talked to Hong Hyen. She was standing right in front of me. The scene shifted to a massive, luxurious high-rise building in the city. Inside a meeting room, Everyone was intently listening to and reviewing Woojin's acting performance. You're cute. So soft. Makes me want to blow you up. Hearing this, a guy immediately looked up and voiced his opinion. Even though producer Song told us beforehand, I didn't expect it to be this good. Manwoo nodded in agreement from the side. It feels like he goes beyond just portraying a role. Speaking of this, he became incredibly smug. He smiled, looked down, and continued to share his thoughts. Did you notice how he instantly returned to normal right after the scene ended? As if he could switch without even trying. Even among exceptionally talented actors, very few have that kind of technique. Thinking of this, he became extremely thrilled when talking about Woojin. Is he really that skilled just from being self-taught? I don't know whether to call him a genius or a madman. Park Yunmi held her head in exhaustion from the side and spoke up. Seeing it with my own eyes makes me even greedier. You know, this is the first time I've reacted like this. Then she looked up, holding her face in frustration, and explained, it was truly a phenomenal performance. What if he doesn't accept the role of assistant director Park? If it's not Woojin, who else could meet my standards? Manwoo also nodded in agreement. I feel the same way. Suddenly, a guy from the production team spoke up. However, Kang Woojin is definitely good, but him saying he'll think about it is a bit. Hearing this, he turned around in surprise. Executive Director Lee stood there and immediately voiced his thoughts to everyone. PD Song and writer Park have massive reputations. Do you know how many top stars are waiting to audition? And they would definitely accept immediately if you offered them the role of assistant director Park. He sat there and continued to express his opinion. Any normal person would agree right away. Is it really necessary to choose someone so arrogant? Hearing this, Manwoo sighed in frustration and explained, he was like that from the very beginning. Hearing this, Executive Director Lee was a bit confused. Manwoo let out a tired sigh and recounted, kids these days call it swag. Hearing these words made him even more bewildered. He immediately yelled at Manwoo. Moreover, Assistant Director Park isn't a small role. It's a supporting role. Why go to such lengths? Hearing this, Manwoo looked thoughtful, pondering something. Could he have an ulterior motive? Immediately, a knowing smile appeared on Manwoo's face. He finally understood everything. Right. Maybe he's just raising his own value. I'll give you time to realize my worth. Something like that. Executive Director Lee didn't seem to agree with this perspective. He immediately shot back. Value? Are you talking about his appearance fee? But how much are we going to pay for a nobody like him? I hope that's just your speculation. Hearing this, Manwoo could only smile regretfully and say, it really is. This is the first time I've been this desperate. I don't even know what to say anymore. Suddenly, Park Yunmi spoke up from the side. Whether it's speculation or not doesn't matter. At this moment, her face became incredibly determined. She glared at Executive Director Lee and spoke as if giving an order. But let me say this once. Don't be stingy with the money. Hearing this, Executive Director Lee looked a bit intimidated. That sounded like a threat. Manwoo nodded from the side and continued to propose to him. Executive Director Lee, whether it's speculation or not, doesn't he deserve his worth? Hearing this, he was at a loss for words and could only explain his thoughts to the two of them. We also have to consider our production's position in this matter, right? If we follow your suggestion, rumors will spread all over the industry. Hearing this didn't scare Manwoo. Manwoo slowly picked up a pen, preparing to write something down. He didn't forget to instruct everyone. Then let's do it. Considering the gossip and rumors that might pop up, set the pay higher than average, but add a confidentiality clause to the contract. Right after, he placed the file on the table and made his decision. He's probably smart enough to estimate his value reasonably. This is the best approach I can take. After that, Manwoo became incredibly smug. He slowly picked up his phone, looking at Executive Director Lee. Now that everyone has made a decision, I can call him about accepting the role, right? Soon after, Woojin's voice rang out from the other end. I'm listening. He chuckled and greeted. Woojin, have you thought about it? Then he continued to get straight to the point with him. Are you considering it because of the appearance fee? I don't mean anything by it. I'm just curious. Hearing this, he just stayed silent, not saying a word. Seeing him remain silent, he smiled and proposed an idea along with the contract. How about this? Since we also want to quickly finalize the contract for the role of Assistant Director Park, think about it today, and tomorrow we'll meet to discuss the actual terms. Before Manwoo could finish his sentence, he coldly announced, I'll do it. Manhwa's voice continued to ring out over the phone. Please come to Sea Blue Studio at 10 a.m. Woo Jin looked at his phone screen with some confusion. He was bewildered, not understanding what was going on. He suddenly called me to ask about the appearance fee? What does he mean by that? The scene shifted to the evening at a street pub where Woo Jin and Youngdi had agreed to meet. In his mind, he was still quite torn. I should ask Youngdi about this. A voice rang out, hello. Seeing that he had arrived, he looked a bit surprised and immediately greeted him. Woo Jin, you're here? He walked over, handed him the scripts in his hand, and explained, returning the scripts I borrowed. Hearing this, he laughed, looked at him, and didn't forget to tease. Did you actually read them? I hope you didn't use them as coasters or something. He calmly replied, I read them. Even though his mind was racing with different thoughts. I even copied the detective agency scene. Remembering something, he asked him about the doubt in his mind. But is it true that the short film detective agency won't be produced? He nodded in agreement, then explained everything. But when I asked an acquaintance, he said an investor suddenly agreed to produce it. Looks like they're going to hold auditions for the movie. Hearing this, he understood everything. If it's produced, will it be released in theaters? He laughed, shook his head, and explained everything so he could understand. No way. It won't even be promoted. It's just a short film. Even many commercial films don't get that, let alone a short film. Plus, the director isn't famous either. Hearing this, Woo Jin was a bit curious. What if it gets a good response? He thought for a long time, then picked up his chopsticks and calmly explained. Usually, there's only one thing if a short film succeeds. It'll win awards at public exhibitions or film festivals like the Red Rag Film Festival or special short film festivals. Just like that, the two of them grilled meat and chatted about this topic. You don't know the production company or who's behind detective agency. Hearing this, he was quite puzzled. Why are you suddenly so interested in this field? I'll send you the link to the film professionals community later. You can find info about detective agency there. Seeing his friend being so helpful, Woo Jin chuckled in surprise. Thanks. Also Youngdi, imagine you're an unknown actor. What would you do if you got an offer from a major producer or a famous writer? Hearing this, he was so surprised he stared intently at him. What? Why are you asking that? To be honest, it would be like a miracle for an unknown actor to be invited to a project. Suddenly feeling like his words were a bit off, his face turned serious as he corrected himself. Even a miracle wouldn't cover it. More accurately, that scenario never happens. No one invites an amateur if it's a major drama. For a big project, tons of actors will want in. They'll want to secure a spot through connections or whatever they can. His voice continued to ring out smugly. An unknown actor getting a role? Then they'd probably have to work unconditionally. But that scenario will never happen. Hearing these words left Woo Jin speechless and frozen. Sorry, but that scenario is sitting right in front of you. He looked up and asked Youngdi. Let's say that unknown actor is you. How much would you negotiate for your appearance fee? He ate the grilled meat and smiled as he replied. If it were me, no matter how much they paid, I'd just say thank you and agree. Usually, a rookie gets around 30,000 won per episode. But even if they only paid me 3,000 won, I'd still happily agree. Hearing this left him a bit speechless, sinking into his own thoughts. I get what he's saying, but 3,000 won is a bit. Inside the barbecue restaurant, he ate while feeling incredibly panicked, asking himself, but what if it really is only 3,000 won? Time quickly shifted to the next morning. A greeting voice rang out to Woo Jin. Hello, Mr. Kong Woo Jin. Please step this way. Executive Director Lee seemed to dislike him quite a bit. He didn't forget to shoot him a glare. Hurry up and get in. Seeing this scene, he was speechless. What the hell? So hostile. Does he hate me? Suddenly, Executive Director Lee spoke to him. Excuse me, Mr. Kong Woo Jin. I have something to say. Seeing this, he looked at him in surprise. He continued to say incredibly confusing things to him. I've been in the production industry long enough, but this is almost the first time I've encountered a case like this. Like today's appearance fee negotiation. Hearing this, he became even more confused, staring at him. I'm here today to negotiate my appearance fee. He frowned slightly as he looked at him, not forgetting to lecture him. I don't know how much you want, but the number you're being offered today is above average. Honestly, I was very against it. But the PD and the writer insisted on it. He continued to lecture him right there. And there will be a lot of eyes watching. You should be careful. It's not good to have rumors spreading right from the start. I'm only saying this to help you before you meet the PD. Hearing this, he stared in surprise at the strange man in front of him. His face became extremely serious. He slowly walked forward, but was lost in his own thoughts. He's hard to read. After hearing him out, it sounds more like he's worried about me. He nodded in understanding to him. I understand. Even though his mind was racing with different thoughts. Because of what Young D said, I hope they pay at least more than 3,001. Executive Director Lee walked ahead, not forgetting to announce, we're here. Let's go. At this moment, a very confusing smile appeared on his face. Looks like I shouldn't expect much more than that. The door slowly opened. He announced to everyone inside, PD, Wu Jin is here. He slowly walked in and greeted everyone. Hello. Seeing him enter, Manhwa hurriedly greeted him. Hello, Wu Jin. Please, sit down. Seeing his demeanor, he was a bit worried. He's as hard to read today as always. Then he slowly pushed his contract forward and continued speaking to him. Take a look. That's your contract. There are a lot of complicated details in there. His voice continued to ring out. But what I want to talk about is the appearance fee we're offering you. He slowly opened the document to review the contract, thinking to himself, appearance fee. The number inside the contract left him so stunned, he froze in sheer shock. Then, carefully watching him hold the contract, Manhwa continued to explain. Your appearance fee is about 250,001 per episode. What do you think? At this moment, he was so overjoyed by this sight that he stood there dumbfounded. 250,001. That's 800 times more than 3,001. I don't know if that's before or after taxes, but it's more than my monthly salary. This was the portrait of a young man who used to make about 2.3 million won at a design firm. Seeing his strange reaction, Manhwa immediately sank into his own thoughts. Does he think it's not enough? That's not a good reaction. He just silently stared at the contract in his hands. He was trying to regain his composure and act cold. Meanwhile, Manhwa was still lost in thought. Regardless, the role of Assistant Director Park is not simple at all. Thinking of this, Manhwa spoke up. Wu Jin, the standard appearance fee for a rookie is usually between 20,000 to 40,001 per episode. You are a special case, and I think it would be a shame to treat you like a rookie. Hearing this, a thrilled smile appeared on his face. He's got a good eye. Then he continued to explain his intentions to him. The 250,001 per episode we're offering doesn't include additional fees like YouTube broadcasts and such. His face became extremely serious as he clarified everything. Although it hasn't been decided yet, Assistant Director Park will likely appear until the end of episode 4. And if he appears in later episodes, like in flashbacks or dreams, you'll also be paid. In total, you'll receive over 10 million won. Hearing this, he just acted calm and sighed. I anticipated that, even though his mind was completely panicking. 10 million. This is insane. Even if it's a special case, it's still way too much for someone like me. So how much do top actors like Hong Hyun get paid? Seeing him still deep in thought, Manhwa continued to share his thoughts. If it were you, instead of 10 million for one drama, I'm sure sooner or later you'll be getting tens of millions per episode. You probably already know that. He became extremely serious, staring at the man right in front of him. Is something I've only seen in the news actually happening to me? Then he asked him, are you okay with 250,001 per episode? He hesitated, thinking it over. Even though it's still not enough, I'm curious. What is my current value? Right after, Wu Jin asked him straight to the point. Am I only worth 250,001 per episode? But in reality, his mind was racing with different thoughts. It's better to know clearly than to be vague. It'll also help me decide what attitude to show in the future. Seeing his dissatisfied expression, Manhwa felt a bit regretful. Even though I explained it, his reaction still isn't as good as I thought. He seems a bit disappointed. At this moment, he suddenly remembered Park Yumi's words. Don't be stingy with the money. He gritted his teeth and made a decision. I understand, Writer Park. A few pennies don't matter. We have to catch him. After taking a deep breath, he smiled, reached out, and stated his thoughts. In my personal assessment, you are worth 350,001. This is truly the first and only case. In exchange, A confidentiality clause regarding your salary and casting process will be added to the contract. Hearing this, Executive Director Lee beside him widened his eyes in shock, looking at him in disbelief. He then asked him, who was sitting quietly, "Does that sound more appealing now?" Even though his mind was absolutely overjoyed. 350,000. He nodded to the two men in front of him. "I think that's sufficient." Hearing this, Executive Director Lee sighed helplessly. Finally, he immediately announced to the two of them, "Since you've agreed, I'll briefly explain the contents of the contract. The entire schedule for Profiler Han Rian is mentioned in the contract." Then he sat there, explaining things to Wu Jin like a child. And staff, builders, investors, production, promotion, transmitting information at lightning speed. He nodded in understanding. Got it. Even though his mind was completely bewildered hearing his words. What is he saying? I don't understand anything. Whatever, I'll just remember the important keywords. Suddenly remembering something important, Manhwa announced to him, "Wu Jin, I'll send you the official script books when they're published. If episode 3 comes out, I'll contact you personally. Usually, we send them through the agency, but you haven't joined one yet, right?" He nodded in confirmation. "Not yet." Hearing this, an amused smile appeared on his face. He slowly leaned towards him, proposing an idea. "Even without an agency, there's no inconvenience right now, and you don't need to go looking for one. When Profiler Han Rian airs, the entire entertainment industry will come looking for you themselves. Or maybe even before that." Hearing this, Wu Jin just acted very cold. He asked him, "I know. Do I need to prepare anything?" He thought for a moment and explained, "I think right now you just need to practice your acting. I'll give you the first part of the script today. So, Wu Jin, please do a great job as Assistant Director Park." Wu Jin slowly walked out the door with a cold demeanor, but his face was completely stunned. He still couldn't believe what had just happened. "No, I can't believe it." He stood still at the main entrance, falling into his own bewildered thoughts. My acting is actually being recognized? Seriously? Am I really becoming an actor? Thinking of this, he became incredibly confused. He stared blankly ahead and thought in surprise, "Now everyone will see me on TV? Will I get a manager too? Sounds pretty cool." He was still lost in his own thoughts. "Plus, I'll need an agency too, right? Kim Youngdi will definitely." He remembered the scenario when he asked Youngdi. He calmly explained everything to him. An agency definitely has its pros and cons. A large entertainment agency will provide great support, but tends to be stricter. While smaller agencies offer less support, they give you more freedom. Thinking of this, he suddenly realized something. He said that, "I wonder when I should choose an agency." Right after, he remembered the scenario where he questioned him. "By the way, why are you asking about that stuff?" Suddenly, his phone rang, startling him. Looking at the vibrating phone with a call from his mom, he sank into thought. "I have to tell my parents. Of course, I don't need to tell their daughter." Time slowly passed at the massive corporate building in the city. 2 days after finalizing the contract for the role of Assistant Director Park, rumors about Kang Woo-jin began spreading throughout the industry. A voice inside rang out. "Did you hear about that?" These two guys quickly chatted with each other. "You know Writer Park's work, right? I heard the role of Assistant Director Park has already been cast." The story gradually became clearer. As a mysterious actor, because Profiler Han Rian held a significant position among domestic production and entertainment companies, this rumor quickly spread within the large company. People couldn't stop gossiping and chatting with each other. "You know Profiler Han Rian? Apparently, the second actor besides Hong Hyen has been cast." "Really? Seriously? This is the first I'm hearing of it." And the story didn't just stop there. Starting from the production company Sea Blue Studio, the rumors gradually escalated. Inside the company hallways, buzzing voices could be heard more clearly. "Lighting director, did you hear the news? They confirmed the actor for Assistant Director Park." "Who is it? Who managed to pass that picky writer?" "I don't know." "You don't know who it is either?" "I thought you knew. That's why I asked." And the story started with hundreds of staff members of Profiler Han Rian. Inside the hallway of an entertainment agency, two people walked and chatted like it was casual gossip. Rumor has it it's Kim Woo-jin. They say it's an actor who used to act abroad. They joined after Hong Hyen, so they must be at least an A-list actor. The rumors spread everywhere, including media companies, entertainment agencies, production companies, and broadcasting stations. the badass image of Wu Jin gradually emerged. With his name kept hidden, Kong Wu Jin slowly gained a reputation in the industry. But in reality, he was just sitting in his room, staring blankly at his laptop. Of course, the main character himself, Kong Wu Jin, happily looked at the computer screen and asked in surprise, "Should I try other roles in part 1 of Profiler Han Rian? Before that, I need to find info on detective agency." Completely unaware of all this, he typed on his computer, searching for the information he needed, not forgetting to talk to himself. Let's see. The info posted on the film community link Young D sent me. They aren't all verified, so it's hard to blindly trust them. He looked at the new news displayed on the computer screen in surprise. But this title looks reliable. It has a lot of views and comments too. Inside was the hottest new information. Film info title, Detective Agency, short film. Production company, Green Vision Film, independent. Director, Shin Dong-chun. It's unclear, but rumors about production being confirmed are spreading. It's almost certain because an actress I know mentioned she's auditioning for this short film. Hearing this, Woo Jin's voice echoed in the room as he talked to himself. What other info should I look for? Director Shin Dong-chun, nothing. What about Green Vision Film? All I found is the company address, and they specialize in short films. Feeling that the information he gathered wasn't very promising, he sighed, resting his chin on his hand, pondering something. Like Young D said, the indie, short, and art film scene definitely seems tough. So in the end, all I found was the company address and a tiny bit of info. Should I give up on detective agency? Thinking of this, Woo Jin looked ahead with some regret and talked to himself. But that script was so interesting. Besides, while TV dramas can be judged by ratings, Detective Agency is an unreleased short film that's already rated B tier. I'm so curious. And since it's a short film, there will be less pressure. Thinking of this, he sighed, sitting there with his arms crossed, muttering to himself, looking incredibly conflicted. I heard even top actors start with small projects. So maybe I should try something small like a short film too. If there are no roles left, I can't do anything about it anyway. Then he continued to look at the map on the computer screen. From here, going straight to the film company is probably my only option. Then he turned his head to look at the script document placed on the desk along with the black square. He told himself, I've finished reading the entire detective agency script and I'm interested in the film. It's time to start the reading experience in the subspace. Then he slowly reached out towards the black square space. Suddenly, a loud noise startled him, making him glance at his ringing phone. Looking at the phone vibrating continuously made him a bit curious. Who is it? Looking at the caller ID that said Bakyu, he realized something. Then he laughed, looking at the phone screen ringing nonstop. Is it her? After years of not answering my calls, she probably heard from mom that I'm going to be an actor. He immediately imagined the scene of his younger sister smugly smiling and mocking him, leaving him speechless. She didn't forget to mock him. You? An actor? Thinking of this, he sighed tiredly. I'm 100% sure she's calling to laugh in my face. I'm not even going to answer. The phone kept ringing, making him sigh helplessly. He angrily picked up the phone, answered it, and yelled loudly, Are you crazy? Do you want to get cursed out? Suddenly, he was startled to see an unknown number calling him. Wait, an unknown number? Is she calling from a friend's phone or something? Woo Jin slowly answered the call, telling himself, let's just hear her out. Right after, he brought the phone to his ear and greeted. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out in his ear. Hello, it's me, Hong Hyan. Hearing these words, he completely froze. His face turned so red from embarrassment that he couldn't speak. He was panicked, not understanding what was happening. In his mind, various thoughts raced. What? Hong Hyan. Top actress Hong Hyan is calling me. Calm down, Kong Woo Jin. You have to keep your cool. Get into character. Get into character. Right after, he immediately switched on his acting mode. He coldly spoke to her through the phone screen. Hello. Hearing this, she stayed silent for a moment. Then she slowly replied. That's not the reaction I expected. She smiled on the other end of the line and congratulated him. Never mind that. I heard you accepted the role of assistant director Park. I didn't expect that. There are a lot of rumors spreading among the staff. Everyone is curious. Hearing this made him blush from embarrassment. That's a thing, but he still tried to act calm. Is that so? Hong Hyan's confirming voice continued to ring out over the phone. The role of assistant director Park is a hot topic right now. At this rate, you'll be famous right from the first script reading, Woo Jin. Speaking of this, she couldn't help but laugh happily, sharing her thoughts with him. Everyone will think they're sitting with a famous actor. But when they realize it's someone they've never heard of, their reactions will be so interesting, right? I thought I'd be the one to break the news since I knew you from the start. See you at the script reading. Hearing her laugh made Woo Jin blush a bit. She laughed. He smiled and replied to her, yes. You've worked hard. Seeing him so calm made her feel a bit regretful. So, is that a getting off work greeting? Don't make me go back to work hours. I'm resting now. Right after, she hung up. Woo Jin's exhausted panting echoed in the room. He collapsed onto the floor, amazed and unable to believe what had just happened. Holy sh**t. It's top actress Hong Hyen's phone number. She even called my name so casually. A thought immediately popped into his head. People in the industry will definitely react differently than my family. Thinking of this, he remembered his mom's first reaction. She looked at him in surprise and confusion. Do you want to go see a doctor? As for his younger sister, she laughed mockingly and didn't forget to tease him. An actor? Yeah, right. The reaction was exactly as expected. Seeing this, he sighed, completely speechless, not knowing what else to say. Then Woo Jin continued to look at the black square right in front of him. Whatever. I should look for more info on detective agency. Time quickly passed. On another side, at a street pub, Manhwa appeared and waved in greeting. Hey, Shin Dong-chun. He was already sitting there waiting. He asked in surprise, you're late. Very late. Is this your working style now? He laughed, explained, and sat down. Sorry. There was an accident or something. Traffic was crazy. His voice continued. And the script meeting for Profiler Han Rian ran late too. Suddenly, he noticed something odd. He asked in surprise, why are you eating kimchi with soju? If you act miserable, your life will be miserable too. He just smiled and replied, come on. You already know, senior. Shin Dong-chun continued to look at him, remembering something. My situation right now really is miserable. I have to pretend it's not, right? Hearing this, he got a bit angry, pointed his finger forward, and scolded. Shin Dong-chun, you idiot. Have you completely lost your spirit? His face became extremely serious, not forgetting to comfort his friend's mood. You're from the same SBC drama department as me, and you had a pretty good track record as a PD. Did you leave SBC just to make these weak excuses? You made a risky decision because you wanted to pursue your dream and make movies. His voice continued to ring out, touching Shin Dong-chun's spirit. Yes, the break has been a bit long, but you'll make it soon. I heard you even found an investor for your movie. Hearing this, he suddenly fell silent. Manhwa glanced at him and remembered something. What was the name of the project you wrote the script for again? He just calmly picked up his shot glass and replied, Detective Agency. At this moment, his face became incredibly proud when talking about his achievement. The title is Detective Agency. It's a short film. Hearing this, he was a bit intrigued. He sat there and shared his thoughts. Detective Agency. I heard the estimated production cost is around 30 million won, right? That's great. He sighed, raised his glass, and explained. It hasn't been announced yet, but it might be 40 million won. Speaking of this, a very sad smile appeared on his face as he slowly recounted everything. The problem is that the investor is from the entertainment industry, and they demanded we cast their actors. In exchange, they'll invest. They want us to cast a few rookies and use Park Dong-hyuk as the male lead. Hearing this, Manhwa was surprised. He suddenly remembered something. Dong-hyuk? The guy who ruined his career by getting into a fight while blackout drunk? So Jioi Entertainment is the investor? It feels like they're using you to whitewash him, like starting over from scratch. Hearing this, Shin Dong-chun just looked sadly into his shot glass, which reflected his aged face. If he plays the lead, no matter how positively people look at it, Detective Agency will become his best whitewashing project. I didn't work like crazy for the past few years just to whitewash that bastard. At this moment, Manhwa suddenly remembered something. He immediately proposed an important idea. Should I introduce an actor to you? Hearing this, he asked in surprise. What? Senior, aren't all the actors around you top stars? He sighed, pointed forward, and explained everything. Just because they're top stars doesn't mean they won't care about short film scripts. Even a star like Hong Hyen accepts good indie scripts. But the person I want to introduce isn't an A-lister. It's someone else. Though I'm not sure if he'll agree. Hearing this, Shin Dong-chun looked curious. Who is it? He sighed and recounted. He's someone we had a really hard time casting. At this moment, Woojin's silhouette appeared right before his eyes. Kong Woojin. Hearing this, Shin Dong-chun looked curious. Who is it? He sighed and recounted. He's someone we had a really hard time casting. At this moment, Woojin's silhouette appeared right before his eyes. Kong Woojin. He's a newcomer. It makes sense you don't know him. Dong-chun laughed in surprise upon hearing this. He immediately replied, You mean Kong Woojin? Must be a promising newcomer, huh? However, if he joins your drama, he'll focus more on that. Would he even agree to do a short film? Manhwa looked at him in surprise and shared his thoughts. He's going to become a huge star. If we grab him right now, we can attract new investors. We have to try to find out. Hearing this, he smiled and nodded in agreement. All right, too much has happened to me over the past 3 years. Then he gave a very sad smile, slowly raising the shot glass in his hand. It's also very hard to see the last bit of my pride. The thing with detective agency being ignored. I'm a bit exhausted. Time quickly shifted to the next day. As soon as dawn broke, the entire entertainment industry seemed to be on fire. The news constantly broadcasted breaking headlines. Hitmaker, star writer Park Eun-mi, lays the foundation for her new work. Writer Park Eun-mi and director Song Man-woo will once again create a new wave. The cast for the new drama is impressive. Top writer Eun-mi's new work has viewers buzzing. All of this was due to the comprehensive promotion of profiler Han Rian. At this time, writer Park Eun-mi stood happily on the podium, recounting all her works. The articles sparked the public's curiosity by teasing details leading up to the premiere date. Meanwhile, the articles sparking a bit of curiosity were just a bonus. Back then, writer Park Eun-mi clarified when she said, This work will feature a truly outstanding scene-stealing actor. Riding the explosive wave of public curiosity and anticipation, profiler Han Rian. The drama's title was announced at noon that same day. Woojin looked at the news being read on his phone screen. The news spread quickly and soon captured the public's attention. On the phone screen were hot daily news articles. With the start of the promotional campaign for profiler Han Rian, attention skyrockets. Will this be the drama of the year? Profiler Han Rian. His amazed voice rang out. Awesome. Truly impressive. He leaned back, sighed, and said, I'm glad it's my close friend's work, but I'm also a bit worried. Anyway, he remembered something and looked at his phone screen again. They scheduled it for 3 p.m. It's past that time, and they're still not here. Today, manager Park from Joy Entertainment was supposed to bring some rookies at 3 p.m., but they're 20 minutes late. Thinking of this, Woojin sighed tiredly and slowly stood up. They think they're the boss. I should just give up. Suddenly, his voice rang out. Excuse me. Immediately, Dong-chun noticed him. He looked at Woojin's tall figure appearing and thought in surprise, What's this? He's tall and looks pretty decent. Wearing a mask. Must be a rookie from Joy Entertainment. Seeing that he had arrived, he immediately stood up and greeted him. You're a bit late. Your appointment was at 3 p.m. Hearing this, he looked up at him in surprise. Are you talking to me? Then he continued to check his phone, asking himself in surprise, No. Did Director Park go get coffee or something? Where is he? You can come in. Hearing this, he slowly walked towards him. Then he reached out to him and got straight to the point. Mr. Park will show us the profiles. While we wait for him, let's take a look at your acting. In his mind, various confusing thoughts were racing. Joy is a large entertainment agency, but they're known for having a lot of mediocre rookies. The kid's aloofness gives a certain level of confidence, but acting is a different story. Seeing Woojin still sitting there silently, Dong-chun asked in confusion, Are you prepared? You didn't just come here for the sake of it, did you? Hearing this, he just stayed deep in thought and remained silent. Then he replied to him, I have a few performances to show you. Hearing this, he was a bit surprised. Then he nodded in agreement. The duration doesn't matter. Go ahead. Let's briefly talk about this information. Detective Agency, with a runtime of 45 minutes, is quite long for a short film. It depicts a sudden event. It happens when a man named Kim Ryujin runs his own agency. Soon after, this detective man chats and discusses with many other people. One day, a client in his 40s drops by. and he requests an investigation. He suspects his wife is having an affair. Immediately, this detective man follows everything. Kim Ryujin takes the case and tails the client's wife. As expected, the wife meets another man while her husband is away on a business trip. The scene shifts to another location. Two cars constantly tail each other. First, Kim Ryujin tails the two of them, following them all the way to a secluded villa deep in Gangwon. Then, this detective quietly and intently observes all the actions of the lovers. Seeing this, the wife calls someone. After that, a muscular man appears. He drags the unconscious lover into a car and moves to an unknown location. This is beyond the detective's expectations. He immediately climbs out the window and goes over to get a closer look at the situation. Having just taken the case, Kim Ryujin is dizzy upon witnessing a murder scene. He confirms the villa window is open and cautiously steps inside. He becomes incredibly shocked to see the lover's corpse lying there. He soon discovers a door leading down to the basement. In the basement, the door is left wide open, and a stranger is lying face down on the floor. Hearing a noise outside, the detective immediately hid to observe the situation. After confirming the person was still alive, Kim Ryujin shook him. But upon hearing sounds from upstairs, he hid in a corner of the basement where broken furniture was piled up. His eyes became intensely focused on the unfolding scene. The story gradually unraveled. And now, Kim Ryujin is a fugitive inside the mansion. Detective Agency is a short film blending tension, suspense, and unexpected twists within the confined space of a mansion. At that moment, he became dead serious, preparing for actions that could cost him his life. To portray the protagonist, Kim Ryujin, one needs top-tier acting skills to make the mansion feel like a terrifying nightmare. He glanced around and muttered in frustration. What an unnecessarily tense atmosphere. Back in reality, Dongchun stood in front of Woo Jin, deep in thought. Furthermore, Detective Agency relies heavily on sound effects, making the auditory presentation extremely crucial. The work also emphasizes the protagonist's inner acting and facial expressions as key elements. Right after finishing his performance, Woo Jin announced, "I'm done." Hearing this, his eyes widened in astonishment. What did I just watch? That must have been a challenging performance, right? He was completely bewildered as he recalled Woo Jin's acting. This is insane. It felt like Kim Ryujin was standing right in front of me, even more vivid than real life. This is a level of acting I've never seen before. Did Jioi really train this guy? Still dazed, he asked him, "Excuse me, how long have you been with Jioi Entertainment?" Suddenly, a group of people walked in, interrupting their conversation. "Director Shin, I'm a bit late." "Goodness, are you in a meeting? Who's that? An actor?" Hearing this, he was slightly startled, not understanding what was going on. "What?" Dongchuan's eyes widened in disbelief. "Director Park, you don't know him?" Woo Jin just stood there in silence. Finally realizing what was happening, he let out a sigh. "Looks like there's been a misunderstanding. I don't know that person." Seeing this, Dongchun grew even more confused and turned to look at him. "What do you mean? Then who exactly are you?" He sat there calmly and introduced himself. "My name is Kang Woo Jin." Dongchuan's face was filled with confusion, his mind racing with different thoughts. Now I get it. After reading Detective Agency, I was fully prepared to be rejected, but I was wondering why they acted like they knew me. Thinking this, he looked at Director Park in the back, then back at the bewildered Dongchun. He must have mistaken me for someone else. It seems this big guy was the one originally scheduled to come. At that moment, Director Park slowly walked over. "Director, do something. Should we stay here?" Hearing this, Woo Jin suddenly realized something. "So he's the director of Detective Agency." Dongchun loudly scolded him. "Director Park, our appointment was at 3 o'clock. You're late." Woo Jin realized he was the odd one out. He immediately stood up, thinking to himself, "Looks like staying here will only cause more trouble." He announced to everyone present, "I'll be taking my leave then. We're done here anyway. Let's head back." He slowly turned to leave, casting a sidelong glance at the two men bickering behind him. "I came because I was interested in a B-rank project, but it seems things are getting a bit complicated." He looked at the two men standing there, staring at him with puzzled expressions. "Just as I thought. Both the lead and supporting roles have already been cast. I don't want to take anything lower than a supporting role, but those two really are handsome. Anyway, I guess I'll have to give up on Detective Agency." Seeing him turn to leave, Dong Chun immediately reached out and called after him. Hold on. Mr. Kong Woo-jin. Completely bewildered, he shouted after him. Wait a minute. Kong Woo-jin. He flinched, suddenly realizing something. That name sounds so familiar. Where have I heard it before? The image of Woo-jin from earlier flashed in his mind when he introduced himself just now. My name is Kong Woo-jin. Thinking about this, it finally clicked. Kong Woo-jin. That's definitely the name he mentioned. This made him even more astonished. Could it be they're the same person? Soon, the scene shifted to a cozy, luxurious restaurant. At the dining table, Manhwa's voice rang out as he spoke to everyone in the room. Isn't it exciting to gather here like this? The view is beautiful. The others nodded in agreement. Enjoy your meal, everyone. Suddenly, his phone rang, catching him slightly off guard. Give me a moment, please. He answered the call and greeted his close friend. Dong Chun, I'm in a meeting right now, but I'll head over to your place later. Before he could finish his sentence, Dong Chun's voice interrupted. Hey! His next words left Manhwa stunned. That actor you mentioned yesterday, Kong Woo-jin. Is he maybe over 1.8 meters tall, with striking features, giving off a very mysterious aura, and has a deep voice? Hearing this, Manhwa asked in surprise. How did you know? Dong Chun suddenly yelled through the phone. Did you tell him anything about the movie? An actor named Kong Woo-jin came to see me today? Hearing this, all three judges were startled by the revelation. Manhwa hurriedly questioned him. He went there? Kong Woo-jin? How did he even know? The two women sitting nearby widened their eyes in disbelief. Kong Woo-jin? Manhwa himself had no idea what was going on. He immediately fell into his own thoughts. Did he find out and go there because he knew we were acquaintances? I just met Shin Dong-chun yesterday, and I only recently found out about Kong Woo-jin. What on earth is happening? He then stammered out a question. When he dropped by, what did he do? Dong Chun recounted everything over the phone. He showed off his acting skills. Dong Chun's face turned incredibly serious. He described everything he had witnessed. His acting, what even was that? It was as if the character I wrote had stepped right out of the script. His performance was beyond vivid. Hearing this, Manhwa nodded in agreement. That's usually how it is when you watch him act. Suddenly, Manhwa spoke through the phone, leaving Dong Chun stunned. Dong Chun, I don't know what this situation is about, so I'll contact Woo-jin separately. I'm in a meeting right now, so I'll just say one thing. Manhwa's serious expression shifted into a joyful smile. He made sure to advise him. Kong Woo-jin suddenly came to see you. A phoenix has flown right into your lap. If you let this opportunity slip away, you'll regret it. He then went silent, leaving Dong Chun standing there in a daze, still trying to process everything. A phoenix? He then stammered out his thoughts. It was a level of acting I've never heard of or seen before. But, does he really deserve that much praise from you? Sitting in the meeting, Manhwa couldn't stop praising Woo-jin's top-tier skills. Both you and I were captivated by his acting, right? Besides, I'm not just evaluating his acting ability. He immediately recalled Woo-jin's cold face and shared his thoughts. How should I put it? There's something very special about his presence. He has star quality, but it's something entirely different. You know what I mean? There's a mysterious texture to him that's incredibly unique. He's destined to become a top actor. After saying this, he looked extremely smug. He didn't forget to add, that's why we worked so hard to finally get him into our project. And now you're telling me someone like him went to your place to show off his skills? Doesn't that mean he's interested in your work? Hearing these words, Dong Chun couldn't believe his ears. Interested in my detective agency? Manhwa nodded in confirmation over the phone. In my estimation, yes. Manhwa's next words left him even more bewildered. I have no idea how he found out about your script. He reached out and touched the script neatly placed on the table. Kong Woo-jin isn't the type to spend a lot of time searching for a project. This shows that Kong Woo-jin likes your detective agency. At this point, Manhwa asked in surprise over the phone. If he didn't have the slightest bit of interest, would he have gone through the trouble of going there? Hearing this, Dong Chun grew even more confused. Interested in my work? Seeing that he seemed convinced, Manhwa smiled and said over the phone, Do you have his number yet? No? Then let me give it to you. If he went all the way to your place, it shouldn't be a problem to give you his number. He made sure to instruct him, contact him, and set up a meeting. Dong Chun hurriedly nodded in understanding. I got it. Seeing that he understood everything, Manhwa said his goodbyes and hung up. Let's talk later then. After hanging up, A very cryptic smile appeared on Manhwa's face. He sighed and thought to himself, he actually went there in person? I'm a little jealous. Jealous? At my age? He then turned back to announce to everyone in the meeting. Sorry about that. It was an unexpected call. Let's continue our discussion. Meanwhile, Hong Hyen was lost in her own thoughts. That name, Kang Woo-jin, that was just mentioned. Should I ask about it later? She immediately looked at writer Bomi and asked. Yes, you said you had something to discuss with us? Bomi nodded in confirmation. She then pointed at the outfit Hyen was wearing and commented. It's nothing major. The sample outfits that Star Hong sent over are a bit too flashy. Tell the wardrobe department to choose simpler and lighter pieces. Hearing this, she nodded shyly in agreement. Our team was just a bit too eager. I'll definitely pass that on to them. She then pointed at Ryu Young-min and lectured him. And Mr. Ryu Young-min, please adjust your diet until the script reading. Hearing this, he flinched, looking a bit defeated. More dieting?